Let's try this again. I recorded a whole, 15-minute video? Blew me. And I accidentally, when I was making my thumbnail, deleted the whole thing. But, anywho, never mind that. Was good. Was popping. Was zam. Kazam. Boom bam. All that was good, YouTube. Um, Coming to you with day in the life at a grocery store, working at a grocery store in the South. Man, that's crazy. I really deleted that video by accident. But anyways, we gonna keep going. We gonna keep pushing, and we gonna keep thriving. So, working the grocery store in the South. I won't say exactly where right now, cause you know what I mean. You gotta keep certain things to yourself, you know. Anyways, yeah, working the grocery store in the South. At this particular grocery store, I started like last August the 28th to be specific. It's pretty cool. Pays the bills, but you know, it's a means to an end. Just like anything is pros and cons, good and bad, yin and yang. So I started working there, and when I first started working there, I was in the cold cut section. No, I'm sorry. I'm fast forwarding. I was stocking first. I started off as a stocker. They moved me to dairy, back to stocking, and it was like that for a while. I was mostly stocking, one of the stock boys, and from there, starting this year in January, they moved me to cold cuts. So cold cuts is pretty cool, but it's real demanding. Um, it's very strenuous at times. Um, in this area, speaking from experience, if you're a closer, you have I'm full time. So if you're a closer and you work in full time, you have the wherewithal to make a pretty good amount, like in a week. If I get 40 hours, depending on if it's a holiday, or just depending on certain things, could be anywhere from 6 to 7. Once again, I'm in the South, so if you know, you know. Every place in the South isn't like that, but this certain grocery store in this certain place, you know, it is what it is. But for now, um, that's what I do. Now, 2 weeks ago, I pulled a muscle in my back, unfortunately, and I had to take some days off. So I'm on light duty now. It's a certain um, department in the store called e-commerce. What you do is you have a tablet. On the tablet, orders come through. You take the orders. Uh, you you go gather the groceries that the particular person wanted. You put them in a basket. Make sure you got everything the whole time. You can text the person so you can let them know if they have a certain item. If they don't, if it's completely out of stock, you might ask them, do they want a substitute? So it's pretty cool. It's laid back. But just like with everything, it's pros and cons. Um, guys, it's really like sometimes you rushed to get people's stuff, and I'm fairly new in this area. Like when I first started, they trained me. real quick, real briefly, just showed me like what it was like, and that was it. But I had to get retrained and actually really do it this time. So this compared to cold cuts is pretty cool. Uh, Cold cuts, it's like people come to the counter. Uh, Sometimes you get some cool customers. You get some customers that's not so cool. Like when I first started working there, it's my in cold cuts in that department specifically. It's like my second, third day, something like that. It's this dude. It's this regular. That's he always, from what my boss said, he's a regular. He always in here. Um, he asked me to clean the machine, to which I responded, "Yes, sir, no problem." I didn't frown. I didn't uh, smile. When I did smile, it wasn't like a sarcastic or a smug smile. It was a genuine smile. Cleaning the machine, making sure I don't slice or cut myself. Um, he went reported me to the manager's office and said that I had an attitude or something like that, which was crazy because when a manager, I guess, came back and was talking to the manager at the time in that department, she was like, he didn't have she defended me. She said I didn't have an attitude. He was like, look, she said, you doing a good job. I don't know what's wrong with him. He always come here. She was like, I was looking at you the whole time. You didn't have an attitude. So long story short, you can't please everybody. Unfortunately, in retail and grocery and any type of job where you're dealing with customers, you know what they say. The customer's always right, which is definitely, that's not the truth, but you know you gotta play by their rules. And if you're being professional, you gotta um, uh, adhere to what's going on. Even if they're not right, you just remain calm, cool, collected, be polite. Because what they're trying to do, they're trying to, for whatever reason, some customers, some people in general, they're unhappy with their life. So they're going to come there and they trying to get you ticked off. They're trying to get you to show some type of, or have some type of response to their foolishness. Don't do it. If you do it, make it count. I'm just playing. Don't do it. Unless you got something else and you to fall back on. But in general, don't do it. So that happened. Ironically, like my boss said, hey, I was looking at you the whole time. You didn't do anything. I don't know what his problem was. You didn't give him any attitude. You were so polite, blah, blah, blah. Man, he didn't show up for like 3 weeks, a month, something like that. When he started coming back, he was the most pleasant customer, you could have. Gave me a good report. So it's crazy. You just never know. But in e-commerce, still getting the hang of certain things. It's not rocket science. You go get a basket. You look at the tablet. You make sure you got everything. Communicate with the customer off and on if you need to. When you first start the order, you're supposed to greet them and say your name. Ask them how they're doing, how they day going, and go from there. So it's pretty cool. As far as like being able to make a little bit more money and over time, if you're in cold cuts in at this particular store in this certain area, the demand is gonna sometimes, unless you just, the only way you're gonna be able to get everything done is if you kind of just run through certain things and leave it kind of half clean, half not. If you really want to get everything down to a T that's on the list, because best believe it's a list. It's kind of a throw it off list, but it's a list. If you want to get everything to a T down, and man, look, that's, you gonna get overtime, which is crazy because the manager's looking at you crazy like, oh, how come you got out there so late and blah blah blah. Bro, What, you ain't see the list? Have you not seen the list, sir? It's a big ass list. Um, and then also besides the list, you don't that area doesn't close until the store closes. Most areas I heard they come there like, oh, you guys still open? All the other cold cuts close at 7 or 8 or da, da, da. We close at 10 when the store closed, so it's crazy. Uh, so if you're dealing with customers and you're trying to pre-close because you're supposed to be out at a certain time, it ain't gonna happen. For all anybody who might see this and you're in charge of a corporation, uh, yeah, when you're making rules and regulations for certain areas, you guys got to realize, especially if you haven't came down from your throne or your high horse and did it yourself, whether it's the owner of a company or whether it's the store manager, you come do this. You come do it. Let's see how quick you get out. Let's see how fast you get out, my boy, my brother. Let's see how fast. Is you know you're not gonna, if you do everything right how you supposed to do it, you're not gonna get out at the set time. Which so it's real interesting. That's the sort of the cons, but the pros is due to the fact that you won't get out on time, especially if you got to get certain things done. You're gonna get some overtime, and that comes in handy. So you gotta take the good with the bad, the yin with the yang. Um, the I think the craziest scenario, I haven't had one in e-commerce yet. Hopefully, I don't. I've been getting tips and all this, and some good stuff from e-commerce. But in the South, you hear a lot about, oh, it's racist people, this, that, and the third, which I have ran into racist, prejudiced people and experiences and scenarios like that. But typically, I've been other places. I've been to Chicago, Arizona. I've been to Florida. I've been to different places in Florida: Pensacola, Orlando, Mississippi, Memphis. Where else? Texas. Been to New Mexico. I've been to a few places, and Hawaii. Honestly, in the South, I meet the coolest people of any so-called race. But since we're talking about so-called racism, and as far as being on the job, I haven't ran into that specifically a lot. The coolest people I meet, I got tipped from all different races. But I meet a lot of cool so-called Caucasian people, white people, so-called black people, melanated people. But I get the most tips from so-called Caucasian people. But I can't say the same thing if when I was in Hawaii visiting and I'm there with my consort. See, they stuck in the Stone Ages. They look at you like you're crazy. Down here, especially on the job, a lot of them just more down to earth. Especially it's the South, so they're a little bit more open. So you meet more cool people of so-called other races than you meet people from other races that's racist. So that's very interesting, cool dynamic, but it's pros and cons to anything in all different areas on the gig anyway. So yeah, hopefully this takes off and I won't be in a rat race. But just giving y'all a little bit of my day in the life. It's real interesting. If you want to know currently how I get to work, let me know and I'll show you in the next video. Keep it right, keep it tight, eat your veggies at night. 13 love, 13 wisdom, all that good stuff. Yeah. What else? There are other videos too, but for now, I'm gonna leave it at that before it gets too crazy, because I got some crazy stories. Let me know if you want the crazy stories in the comments. All right. Peace.